Welcome to our fourth lesson in our Proportional Relationships unit. Today we're going to work on our lesson 4 guided notes, and our topic is unit price. The good news is it's very similar to our last lesson, unit rate. So let's read the first sentence of our definition. A blank blank describes the price or cost for one item, such as a pound, pint, ounce, box, candy bar. So that would be one of those items, and we refer to that as unit price. Now let's continue reading. Since we will be working with money, we need to recall how to round money correctly. We will use W.TH or what the heck to help us. So this is something we've used in the past, and so let's see what that looks like. If you recall, the W is referring to whole numbers, the dot is the decimal, T refers to tenth, and H refers to hundredths. And since money is dollars, dimes, and pennies, this works out very well. So the whole number is 20. Anything in front of the decimal is a whole number. 3 is the tenth, and 7 is the H. So money always stops here unless we're told to round to a different place. When we round, this number back behind I call the bossy number. This 1 is going to boss 7 around. It's going to tell 7 to stay, or it's going to tell 7 to round up. So our two choices are $20.37 or $20.38. If this bossy number here is 4 or less, we give it a rest. If this bossy number is 5 or more, we raise the score. So since 1 is less than 4, we're going to give it a rest. So in money, this would be $20.37. Our next number, again, we're going to put our W underneath the 6, dot where the decimal is, T and H. And we're going to chop off everything else that's there. So it's either going to be $6.22 or $6.23. Now it's important that you know the only number that we look at, that we don't care about the 2 and the 8, we only care about the number right behind where we chopped off the number. This is the bossy number. The rest of the numbers we don't really need to look at. So this 5 is going to boss this 2 around. It's going to tell them whether to go up or whether it should stay. So since this number is 5 or more, it tells that to round up. So we're talking about $6.23. Would you please try labeling this next number and then attempt to round it? And then we'll have a discussion about what's a little bit different about this one. All right. Well, if you mentioned or thought that this number doesn't have a dollar amount, you are correct. However, we like to put this placement 0 because sometimes that decimal dot gets lost. So there are $0. And now if you also discovered this bossy number tells this 9 to go up, but now we have a problem. The next number above 9 is 10. So I really need this to be 0. I only have one place so to put a digit, so I have to carry the 10 or the 1 from the 10 over. So this 1 and 7 becomes 8. So if you think about it, if I rounded 79 cents up 1 penny, it would be 80 cents. So logically that makes sense. As you look at the next number, you may notice something that's kind of strange about this one also. We have what, dot, the, and because it's money, we do need pennies. So what do you think we should do? If you thought we should place a 0 there, you are correct. So this is $4.80. So for our purposes, we're going to assume unit price means we want to show the dollars, dimes, and the pennies unless they state otherwise. When we get to our next unit on percent, you're going to notice that that is the very last step. We don't round until it's the final step when working with money. So let's go continue on. When we're asked to find the unit price, we always use the price that is given as the first or top number, even if it's given second in our description. Like unit rate, we can use two methods, proportions and the shortcut. So let's use the following example to demonstrate this. So let's read through our situation. A dozen eggs cost $2.60. What is the cost per egg? When we work on this, we first want to see what information we're given. So we have a dozen eggs that cost $2.60. Well, if you recall, a dozen is 12. So there's 12 eggs in a dozen, and the cost is $2.60. So if we're going to use a proportion, we want to first start with the money, even though it mentioned it second. In our last lesson on unit rate, we use the information in the order that's given. But when we work with unit price, money always comes first. So we're going to put $2.60. That money sign will serve as my label. And we're going to put 12, and we will label this eggs. And because they asked for the cost, we're looking for the dollar amount. So we're going to use our X, and per implies that there's one egg. So now we have our proportion. So we're going to cross multiply. And again, you can get rid of your labels if you prefer. 12 times x would be 12x. The equal sign reminds us to drop down the equal. And 1 times $2.60 is $2.60. Now we want to solve this by dividing by 12 on both sides. So you can pause and use your calculator. All right, and we got the very lovely answer is 0.216 repeating. You're going to notice there's 7 at the end, and that's because the calculator rounds the very last digit, which is a 6, to a 7 because it knows it's repeating forever and ever. So now let's use what dot the heck to help us round. What dot the heck? And we're going to chop it off right there. Again, this is just repeating 6s. And if we look at this first 6, that's all we need is just this one. It is 5 or more, so we raise the score. So we would raise it to 22 cents. This is money, remember. And now if we look back up, that's per egg. Oh, look, I can make my G's on that one. So there's a shortcut to this, and we've mentioned it before. And if you look at what we set up here, that's the shortcut. That's where we're going to end up. We actually set it up here too, and we can go directly there. If you recall that money is always on top, no matter which order they gave it to us, you can set this up and then just go directly to division. So we would take $2.60 divided by 12, which is exactly what we did here. In fact, we use this as our division bar, and we would get exactly the same answer. Of course, we would round. So from this point forward, I'm going to go directly to the shortcut method to make this video a little bit shorter. Let's try the next problem together. So our next problem says an ice company charges $9.60 for 6 bags of ice. What is the unit price? And again, unit is talking about 1, and price is money. So just like unit rate was the amount of whatever quantity for one, unit price is how much it costs for one of an item. So we mentioned using the shortcut. I'm always going to start with money. In this case, it was mentioned first. I'm going to divide it by the number of bags. I still like to include my labels because my labels will help me answer the question clearly. So this should be 6 bags of ice. And so I'm now going to take $9.60 divided by 6. And you can pause the video and do that math. And the answer I have is 1.6. So the question is, am I done? Well, if you recall, we're trying to find the price for 1. So 1.6 does not quite look like money yet. Besides the dollar symbol, this is dollars, dimes, and we're missing the pennies. So we need to put a 0. So we can clearly state now it costs $1.60 for each bag of ice. So cost per item. I'd like you to go on to the next problem and try to set it up. We'll pause this video and try setting it up yourself. All right, so you're going to notice, hopefully, that they mention the word to. They like to do that sometimes to trick us. They put it in word form instead. So we took the cost divided by the number of t-shirts, and I have 13 and 0.945. Hopefully that's what you have too. Now they added this. It says round to the nearest cent. They could have told us round to the nearest whole dollar, round to the nearest dime. And most of the time, frankly, when we're working with money, we usually round to the nearest cent unless told to otherwise do so. So we didn't really have to be told that in this case, but sometimes we're going to say that. So we have our what dot the heck. This is 5 or more. The bossy number is 5 or more, so we raise the score. So the final cost was $13.95 per t-shirt, or for one t-shirt. So if you go on now and try the next 2 practice problems, that would be great. See you for our last video.